His name is Josh Kaufman. He was a sergeant. He was really fun, really good dad, always got down on the ground with our son. Josh was still a kid at heart. So his good side, it was so good.
Tom was my little brother, so we're 2 years apart, but he's the youngest of the family of 9, so we not only were brothers, but good friends for all of our life. When I made a decision to go into the Air Force, Tom, just 2 years later, when he graduated from high school, joined the Marines.
These are Minnesotans who have served our country and have come to a situation in their mind that this is the only way to go forward. One veteran death is too many, and we really got to find a way to be able to solve this problem, reduce that number significantly, and eventually actually eliminate veteran suicide deaths altogether.
Here's what we know. The military is comprised of individuals from society. We make up the society around us. And we come into the military with mental health challenges, different backgrounds, different upbringings, different resiliency levels to handle the stressors that come towards us, especially the stressors in military life. But what we also know is that no two stressors are the same for an individual.
We're all human. We all have challenges. We all have crosses that we bear. So to understand that you don't know what somebody else's crosses that they're bearing or what issues or challenges they have.
We have financial pressures, employment, marital issues, and so the amount of stressors one individual may be able to manage and handle may be enough to send another person over the edge and contemplate killing themselves. That's asking very specifically, are you thinking about killing yourself? Which is a hard conversation to have either with a friend or a loved one.
A lot of people think that's the last thing you want to do, but it's actually the first thing that you want to do. I've actually asked that question 3 times during my lifetime to individual veterans, and 2 of the 3 times I got a yes answer.
And depending on their answer, then what we expect is for you to care for them, which means stay with them and talk with them and tell them what we're going to do is to help find treatment and support for them. And then we're going to escort them to care so that we can ensure their safety. Part of it is knowing what the warning signs are. And sometimes we don't know what the warning signs are.
I could tell he just wasn't really doing well. I couldn't really tell what was going on, but he was just really off.
He could mask. In fact, that might have been where he could mask most of the challenges and trouble he had, because it always came down to, to making a joke about it. And, we really, even the pain, physical pain that he went through, that from time to time he would talk about, but the mental pain, we could never see.
When we see people withdrawing from the things that they like doing, when they're no longer wanting to hang out with the groups of friends that they were, when we start seeing signs of potentially excess drinking or isolation, they've got legal trouble or financial trouble or marital discord. Those are all indicators that we need to be much more in tune and aware. In those that we have prevented, right, that intervention, has been someone reaching out and saying, hey, how are you doing? What do you need? I noticed that you're not enjoying things as much, or I've noticed that you've withdrawn from some events. Tell me what's going on. And continuing at it, and don't accept the everything is fine. And maybe everything is fine. But what we've found in those that have been successful in intervening in suicide, it's been that constant contact to make sure that they're okay, to check in on them, and not just this one and done, hey, you seem off, you all right? Yeah, you're okay, and then you move on with your day. It requires constant vigilance.
I can tell you, my brothers and sisters, since, Tom took his life, have a lot more conversations on mental health issues than we ever have before. Tom, in a very tragic way, taught us a lesson that we need to talk about things that are often hard to talk about.
So here's what we know. In suicides, over 90% of suicides involving a firearm are fatal.
It's actually the #1 method that veterans use. Actually, over 70% of veteran suicide deaths in Minnesota are due to firearms.
We also know a simple locking device securing your firearm properly could provide enough time for someone who is planning on killing themselves to take a second to rethink their actions. A safe gun is a locked gun.
Most firearms bought and brand new all come with one of these. Otherwise, we have plenty in our store. If you need more for other firearms, come on in. They are free. We just want to promote safe gun storage. Brian's going to demonstrate here with a firearm of how to lock it. So after he unholsters it, obviously making sure that the magazine is released and the magazine is taken out, we're going to rack the slide back to make sure that there's no rounds in the chamber. Keeping the slide racked to the rear, Brian's going to take the cable lock and insert down the magazine well. And then safely securing the lock to itself. So now the gun is locked up. All right, so the purpose of the cable lock is clearly to allow the slide not to go all the way forward, as well as he will not be able to insert a magazine into the firearm or get around in the chamber, so without unlocking the firearm. For double safety, if you'd like to, something like this, you could also lock in a lockbox as well with that lock, just to have that extra layer of security.
Recently, we've had over 15,000 gun locks that have been distributed in the last about 8 months, and we've been able to get these gun locks out to the communities through the county veteran service officers and through other means, to include being able to get gun locks individually to veterans that actually request them through our website at minnesotaveteran.org.
So gun locks are available as well to our Minnesota Guard members through their unit supply system for free, as well as their family members.
We're also looking at other options where we can allow veterans to store guns in a location off-site, and they could go to a gun shop and we'd be able to, again, create that space between their decision to take their lives and the actual means, which would be the firearms and ammunition itself.
As far as, gun storage and helping other people, that's kind of our big thing here. I mean, I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't help other people. I have, not to name names, like I've had fellow service members, knowing like someone you trust that you can say, hey, I need you to take these just for the week. Every time I see them, I get this feeling, I don't want them around me right now. It's not that I can't own them, but I got to get right with myself first before I can be able to safely own one.
Even if you're not in the Veterans Healthcare system, you can still go to a vet center. The vet centers will actually help and assist family members, which is an important and critical part to ensuring the veteran is supported and that the family members know what they need to do to help and assist that veteran.
So if you are experiencing a crisis, you are definitely not alone. And you may feel like it right now, but the key is to reach out. Call a buddy, call the Suicide Intervention Hotline 988. We need you to be with us. We need you to stay within our communities, within our formations, within our veteran ranks.